Hello everyone, hope you're having a nice day. Today we have a new Zelda rumor, or leak. So let's ignore all the subscribe, like, blah blah blah. Let's just get into it. This comes from the greatest website in the world, Inverse. Sent to us by our amazing friend, Natsu. This is what they have to say. It all comes from a leaker claimed to be a Nintendo contractor based in Tokyo who joined the project in March last year. A Reddit post sharing the same information from FEMI boards matched his story. These two main takeaways emerged from the contractor's leaks. 1. The Sheikah Slate is back. The leaker is a 3D artist with that in mind. She mentioned animating sequences related to the first time the player picks up the Sheikah Slate. This also caused the fans to jump to the conclusion of a possible playable Zelda. Zelda has the Sheikah Slate by the end of Breath of the Wild, so it raises the question of why Link would have it back in his possession. Switchforce, the greatest YouTuber to ever exist, raised the possibility of Zelda being a playable character, since she would theoretically have the slate. We see Zelda in action in Hyrule Warriors, so it isn't totally out of the question. However, fans have yet to see her as one of the playable characters in a mainline Zelda game. Link's, which, for the record, that is not true, she's playable in Spirit Tracks. Link's mutated arm seems to replace the Sheikah Slate in Breath of the Wild sequel trailers, so it'd also be interesting to see how the two powers complement each other, or if the arm is related to the Sheikah Slate. Zelda also could have dropped the Sheikah Slate when she fell into a black hole in the Aether's black hole. Okay. Inverse.com, people, the greatest website in the world. The leaker also mentioned working on a roaring dragon and flying dragon animation, which could be related to black hole. Seriously. Which could be related to the unreleased title for Breath of the Wild 2. A roaring dragon and flying dragon related to the title of Breath of the Wild 2. Wow. Okay. Yeah, no. Okay. Number 2. New Game Plus. The Breath of the Wild sequel might also incorporate New Game Plus, which would be a first for the Legend of Zelda series. New Game Plus is a feature that enables players to carry over progress like stats, weapons, and other items into a new playthrough, so that it's easier to explore areas you might have missed and replay specific moments without grinding through the same content again. Related to New Game Plus, Link will apparently look different at the end of Breath of the Wild sequel. Switchforce notes that this could be lost in translation and is probably the least clear detail mentioned in the leak, considering, quote, look different, unquote, could mean a number of things from changing outfits to Link's arm returning to normal. Switchforce also pointed out that he could, quote, look different, unquote, if New Game Plus enabled playing as other characters like Zelda. However, he admits at the end of the video that he doesn't think playable Zelda is likely because of how Nintendo has dodged the possibility for so long. They haven't, though. There's been tons of interviews about Breath of the Wild and Breath of the Wild 2 where Aonuma and other people have stated that they would love for Zelda to be a playable character, and it was even part of the concept phase for the original Breath of the Wild. And that's coming from Fujibayashi, the director of the game, who also worked on Spirit Tracks and allowed Zelda to be playable in it. But again, Inverse, best website in the world. You know they're the best because they've covered a bunch of our stuff. And even in the videos of ours, Inverse has covered, they completely misquoted, and like you could listen to the video. We said one thing, and then they made an article about it where they said that we said literally the exact opposite. It was hilarious. That's why we always make fun of Inverse. And at the Game Awards, when they were one of the judges, we laughed. I laughed. Daniel didn't. Daniel loves them. Everyone else on the channel, they all love them. But I've gotten to know a couple of people who work there, and they all they share the same sentiment, despite one of them still currently working there for them. To continue, Zelda's likely playable because of how Nintendo has dodged the possibility for so long. None of the information in this leak has been confirmed. It's dubious at best, considering there isn't any proof like screenshots or a track record from the leaker to support them. We might get more concrete. That's the thing, they talk about there's no track record, blah blah blah. half the people that Inverse talks about and all these other websites, when they're like, oh, a credible leaker has a credible proven track record, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, yeah, they got 3 things right out of 1,000. Yes, they have a track record, but it's a horrible track record. Like, go look up the Mark, I don't even know his name. He's been saying Link's Awakening, or not Link's Awakening, there's going to be a Link's Awakening style remake of the Oracle games literally every single year for the past 5 years. The same goes for Wind Waker and Twilight Princess HD collection for the Switch ever since basically the Switch released, which we've covered. There's like actual proof of people documenting every single leak they've had and all the stuff they've gotten wrong and everything they've gotten right. And it's usually the stuff that they do get right is because they say the same thing every single 6 months. But what do I know? We don't know anyone. None of the information this is dubious at best. Considering there isn't any proof like screen, but we might get more concrete information about Nintendo. Yeah, Nintendo Direct. We're doing a podcast tonight. Come check it out, the Highland Gamescast, the greatest Zelda podcast that has ever existed, or at least it used to be until I started having issues. But Daniel and Geek and Tubes are all still pretty amazing. A couple of weeks ago, we had Joe return for like the 10th time. This time, we spoke of nothing related to Breath of the Wild or Breath of the Wild 2. Talked about some of his other work that he has going on. For those who don't know, he plays Daruk in Yunobo. It was all really exciting. We've had plans for some other people who have played on Breath of the Wild and Age of Clams and Breath of the Wild 2, or maybe Breath of the Wild 2. Who knows? I wouldn't know. To come on. Some people from IGN and someone somewhat related to Star Wars I've been talking to. One of my favorite bands, Skylit Drive. We have a couple of people who've played in that band coming on. That'll be really interesting. A follow-up to my interview with Robert from Escape the Fate, one of my other favorite bands. Friend, I had a couple of vlogs from some of the times we hung out that I never uploaded, but still might someday. This is kind of a quick video. Someone, as I mentioned earlier, Natsu, great Patreon supporter, great friend, great Natsu, the one and only, mentioned this. I don't know exactly what we'll get into tonight on the Highland Gamescast, but I say go check it out, because if you have any questions, put them here. This is a call. If you have any questions for tonight's Zelda mailbag at the end of our Highland Gamescast, please comment your questions below. We will try to get to them. Yeah. Hope you all have a good day. This is a quick update video. Love you all. I had a long day yesterday. Been a even longer night, so I decided to have some eggs and wine. Yeah, happy Halloween. Thank you to Riker1 Tremel Shefford, someone whose name is only donated to hear Jesse speak my name and then didn't give me his name. Gene Pinna, Disappointment, Joseph Stewart, ZAIN JIWANI, SOBERX, Mr. Monocled Metroid, David Guthman, Zoe M, Natsu, Jesse Wood, Andremoy, Ashton, Justin Clark, Candy, Chad Costin, Largnar, Monica Spath, Lovable Christie, and Gus Calvo. I apologize if I got some of your names wrong. Please comment below, or you can message me directly to correct how I pronounced your name. Thank you all for your support, and I hope these videos keep entertaining everyone.